Welcome, everyone. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to learn about Catalyst grants offered by the Graham Sustainability Institute. My name is Sarah Miller, and I'm a collaborative research specialist here at Graham. All referenced information and resources within this presentation are available on the Catalyst Grants webpage. At Graham, we work across UM's 19 schools and colleges, connecting and supporting faculty, students, staff, and partners outside the university in order to enhance collaborative research, develop sustainability leaders, and inform policy and practice. We do this across three main strategic focus areas, those being climate, water, and communities. And we do this with a strong commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, which are critical to advancing sustainability. If you want to learn more about opportunities at Graham, check out our website or reach out to me directly. We recently released our fiscal year 25 RFP. This opportunity is open to faculty from all three UM campuses, Ann Arbor, Dearborn, and Flint, to pursue projects that address critical sustainability challenges. This can be any sustainability topic. Keep an eye on images in this slideshow, which convey the wide range of topics that have been or could be funded. You can also look at the previously funded projects on our website, but don't feel limited by them. You might hold the next great research idea. These projects also adopt an intended user-driven approach, meaning that the ideas are motivated by needs from intended users, your partners, clients, or collaborators outside of academia who are positioned to use or act upon the findings or work. These users can come from any non-academic sector, including business, government, community, or nonprofits. Catalyst grants also include collaboration across at least two disciplines and at least two UM academic or research units. Importantly, these projects can draw upon any discipline, from the STEM fields to the social sciences, professional schools, humanities, and the arts. And they can be used to help you either develop new lines of user-driven research or to support the collaborative work needed to take existing work and translate it, expand upon it, or make it more usable in the real world. With that, let's dive into the details for this fiscal year 25 round. The purpose of Catalyst grants are to advance sustainability by developing new user-driven collaborative research ideas and/or to translate existing research for real-world application. The awards are up to $15,000, and they're very flexible with how they can be used. Just no indirect cost and no equipment purchases are allowed. These projects can last up to 1 year, and we anticipate making 4 to 5 awards for this round. Projects must be led by a UM employee who is eligible to serve as a UM principal investigator. You can find the UMPI definition on the ORSP website, which is linked in the RFP. The opportunity is open to faculty from all three campuses. Note that there must be at least two disciplines and at least two UM academic or research units represented among the investigators. By units, we are generally referring to schools and colleges. For instance, the College of Engineering is one academic unit. The School of Public Health is also one unit. We do have some exceptions for LSA given its size and breadth. So see the RFP for details or reach out to us if you have questions about meeting these requirements. There is a short but required LOI due November 1st. It is mandatory. If you don't submit it, you cannot submit a full proposal. Those full proposals are due January 27th in the new year. We anticipate making funding notifications in March of 2025, and we anticipate projects will start May 1 and wrap up no later than April 2026. But these projects can also be shorter. All proposals must explicitly identify which of two eligible objectives the work is focused on. Proposed projects must develop new user-driven collaborative research ideas and/or translate existing research for real-world application. Refer to the RFP for more examples of the kinds of activities that we'd expect for each of these, but I'll note briefly that Objective 1 projects are typically earlier stage. The key thing is that they must be laying the groundwork for future follow-on user-driven projects. Project activities could include partnership building and engagement activities like meetings and workshops that build relationships, clarify intended user needs, and identify research priorities. And they could include some data collection, analysis, or synthesis in collaboration with users to identify knowledge gaps or refine the scope of a future, larger collaborative research project. Objective 2 projects build on prior research accomplishments and engage users to advance the real-world application of that research. The key feature here is that these projects must develop at least one translational product that supports a user's understanding, decision-making, or action. These translational products could be a tool, a guidance document, creative work, or even user training or capacity building. There are some projects that have had elements of both of these objectives. That works fine too. We do require brief LOIs. These are basically a short project description about a page that also lists the team and the eligible objective of the work. The RFP spells this out in detail. They are mandatory, and you must submit one by November 1 in order to submit a full proposal. However, these are not used to screen out projects. We use these to gauge interest and to begin reviewer recruitment. We will also reach out if there are major concerns with alignment with the funding opportunity or meeting key requirements, but you don't need to be invited to submit a full proposal. You can also make changes to the project or team at the proposal stage. Bottom line, if you think you're going to apply, even if your team isn't finalized, you're still connecting with your intended user, or you're working out project details, submit information on what you have, and we can go from there. This is low stakes and really just to get your foot in the door. Let's talk about the proposal. It includes a cover sheet, a narrative no longer than 5 pages, and appendices. In the RFP, we have provided details for what should be in each of these components. The description of the narrative includes suggested page links and describes exactly what we're looking for in each section, so review those details. I'll just note a few key things. The prompts for what to include in each section of the narrative correspond with the review criteria. These are intended to help you provide details on the things the reviewers will be looking for. For the approach, we are looking for information about both the technical approach and collaborative approach, meaning we want to know any research methods you'll use and the approach you're going to take to engage your intended user and why that works for them. The RFP provides examples of the types of outputs and outcomes we anticipate these projects may produce. Make sure to list the planned outputs and outcomes separately, and be sure to include nearer-term outcomes. We want to see a clear connection between your activities and outputs and the nearer-term outcomes you're aiming for, not just the long-term ultimate impacts of the work. The appendices are pretty standard. We provide timeline and budget templates on our website. Note that we will need a Graham proposal approval form signed by your chair and dean. This is not the path routed through e-research. It's a form on our website that just gets included in your proposal PDF. Please allow time to route this form for signatures in your unit. Proposals will be evaluated across the 6 criteria that you see listed: sustainability focus, project approach, collaboration and user engagement, feasibility, scholarship, and student opportunities. Reviewers will be asked to provide a score and comments for each of these. Exact language for the criteria is listed in the RFP. It is smart to review that, keep it in mind, and make sure that you're addressing all of these elements in your proposal. Note that project approach, collaboration, and feasibility are higher weighted scores. For these 3 criteria, there are multiple dimensions that we will be looking for. But don't worry, I'll provide some tips and good things to keep in mind here in a moment. In terms of the selection process, All proposals meeting the minimum requirements will get at least 3 written reviews according to the evaluation criteria conducted by faculty with relevant expertise and Graham staff. The final funding decisions will be made based on the written reviews and overall program goals laid out in the RFP. Graham seeks to support a diverse group of grant recipients and to be inclusive of new collaborations. These goals will be taken into consideration when making final funding decisions after the review is complete. All teams will receive a summary of the reviews along with the funding decision. Even if we are not able to support a project this round, we aim to provide feedback to help folks strengthen their ideas for future submissions. Some things to keep in mind as you are developing your project ideas and writing your LOIs and proposals. First, please feel free to contact us with any questions at any time. We are happy to make time to talk about your project idea. Next, review the RFP. We also have a frequently asked questions document on the Graham website. It might include answers to questions that you have. For Catalyst grants, we define sustainability very broadly. Still, we are looking to fund projects that have multiple dimensions of sustainability, specifically environmental, economic, and socio-cultural. There are other dimensions as well, so don't feel limited to these 3. We don't expect these 3 dimensions be equal, but we're looking for all 3 dimensions to be present. For instance, we are not looking to fund projects that are solely environmental in focus or only about social sustainability. We're happy to discuss this if you're unsure. Catalyst grants are intended to provide support and funding for up to a year. Please ensure that the work you propose is feasible within that timeframe. We know that there are often delays working with intended users, and there can be delays associated with student schedules. You should build appropriate buffers into your timeline and scope your project accordingly. If it's helpful, you might want to think about scoping 8 months of work and then having time for inevitable delays. It's also okay if the project timeline is shorter than 12 months. Be explicit about whether the project is enabling new efforts or is building on existing work. Both are fine, but if you are building on existing work, explain how the proposed work is distinct. And relatedly, we do know that this is only $15,000. Often, projects require more than that, and you're piecing together different funding streams. In order to assess feasibility, however, reviewers need to know about the other resources available for the project if that's the case. We have space in the appendices for you to share that. Catalyst grants are intended to help support user-engaged and driven research. We want to see projects that work alongside intended users to help inform decision-making in real-world application. It's really important that you're clear about intended user involvement in the project. This involvement can vary, and more isn't necessarily better. For instance, some projects have a user who is a co-I on the project team, while others engage their user in specific ways at specific times over the project duration. What we're looking for is a thoughtful, collaborative engagement process that meets a user's needs. In all cases, proposals must identify their specific users and describe their needs, explain how the user helped shape the proposal, describe a process that ensures iterative and meaningful engagement with the users, including mechanisms for being adaptive and responsive to their input. That means that you should include in the narrative and timeline the ways and times you'll engage your users and build in time to make revisions, updates, or changes based on their input. Proposals must also and should explain how the users will benefit from and use the project findings and outputs. And proposals must include at least one letter of support from a user that corroborates what's in the narrative. The RFP also summarizes the terms of the awards and the support that we provide. The terms are pretty standard. Teams join verbal check-ins and provide brief reporting, and we do want teams to participate in Graham-sponsored research events to share their work if possible. We also provide support for our project teams. We hold check-ins to help us provide additional support to teams. And we aim to help find solutions if teams run into any challenges, provide flexibility, and connect teams with additional resources at Graham through our network or elsewhere on campus. Our communications team can also help develop translational materials and leverage other university communications resources for outreach and impact. We can also help teams with user engagement, including consultations or direct support planning and implementing workshops, events, or evaluation. If you want to discuss project support before submitting a proposal, please reach out to me so we can hear more about your ideas and identify how we might support you and your project team. Just some nuts and bolts quickly. Everything, both the LOI and proposal, should be submitted through Graham's application portal. I've included screenshots to show what the online application looks like. You start by clicking Start an Application on our application webpage and then Apply. It will take you to an online form where you enter team member information and upload your LOI as a PDF, and you click Save down at the bottom. After saving, you will receive a confirmation email that includes a unique URL that will take you back to your application. Save this link. That link will let you come back and make changes to the team member fields or to upload new PDFs all the way until the deadline, when your LOI will be submitted automatically. You'll then use the unique URL and your same login credentials to return to the application to make any changes to the team and upload and save your proposal PDF in the same way. Bottom line, don't stress. If you run into any trouble, even at the last minute, just email us. As questions come up over the next few days and weeks, I encourage you to reach out to us. We are utilizing Calendly for scheduling brief 30-minute consultation calls with interested researchers and teams. And we can also find time outside of Calendly to meet if needed. We really want to thank you for your time and interest, and we're really looking forward to seeing the LOIs come in on November 1. Happy fall season, and good luck in your LOI and proposal submissions.